Welcome back to my studio. Well, work continues on this feisty little rooster. And now I'm going to start working on his comb and his head. This is a mixture of cadmium red deep plus alizarin crimson. This makes my deep red for his comb. And what I want to do on the back part of this is let that just kind of feather into the background, so it looks like he's moving, like we've got some movement there, because as you see the feathers, he's kind of turning around. So we want this to just have a soft edge that just gives the impression of motion there. So there we go. Then I'm also mixing in some cadmium, just plain cadmium red deep, as we get to the front. The light's coming in from the upper left. So we want the front part of the comb to be a little bit lighter. Again, what I'm going to do, again, to get that feeling of movement, is the back part of his comb, these little peaks on it, I also want to have a soft edge. So I just pull down from the background. I take a clean brush, put my thinner, and I wipe it with tissue so it's dry. And then I just pull from the background in. See how that feathers that edge? Now this needs to come back. Just don't like the shape of that. But I can do it, I can just keep doing that until I have it the way I want it. Okay. There we go. Now I want just a little bit more of a clump right there. Okay, now, clean brush. There we go. All right, and this needs to be a little bit lighter, just, there we are. Okay, now I've got some cadmium red light mixed in that cadmium red deep, and this gives me my lighter portion of the comb. That sun's really hitting it, and the comb is really thin, so it's almost translucent. Now I'm going to bring my brush in and again just soften that back part of it so that it just looks like he's turned a little bit. There we go. Okay. I have my reference material on my laptop next to the easel, on the right side of the easel. I have a tab array there. And I initially drew my rooster in with a mixture of mud, which is 2 parts of ultramarine blue, plus 1 part of alizarin crimson, and I mix liquid into that to just make a really oil wash that I do my initial sketch in, and this allows me to establish the values and all on the rooster. That is dry now, so I can come back and paint over it. And the nice thing about that is if I do happen to go up over a line is I can take a clean brush and just wipe off the paint, and I still have my drawing right here. I still have the drawing of his head, and so that's one of the advantages of drawing it in with that oil wash and letting that dry. I'm going to bring a little brush stroke just down. Let's see. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay. Just again, that gives that feeling of movement. Now his wattles here in the front won't be as feathered out because they're closer to the center of the turn. So, but I still want to bring some lighter background color in. The background color is phthalo blue plus cadmium orange plus a tiny bit of ultramarine blue plus white. There we go. Now I'm going to do his beak. Get a smaller brush here. His beak is a mixture of my ultramarine blue plus cadmium orange plus white. And then I take some of my mud and the tip of his beak is going to be black or dark. And then he's got a lighter highlight there. And where the two, when his upper and lower beak come together, there's a little bit of a demarcation here. And his lower beak, you see just a little bit of light on it. Now I'm going to bring this bring his upper beak down. Now I'm going to use my background color. The background is still wet, so that's easy to just move that paint around to sharpen his beak a little bit too sharp. It's just a back and forth till you get it right. Pushing is pulling. Pushing and pulling, as Jack would say. There we go. I'm going to put a little more of a highlight on the beak. So that gets pretty shiny. It's a very hard, a little more white here. It curves more than I've got it, so let me just take some of that wet paint, curve that a little bit more. And then take my dark. Well, I'm just not doing real well. Let me take my maul stick. This is actually a hook. It's about 6 feet long. We got that at the Container Store, and that's used to lift clothes off of a tall, high rack rod. And when we saw those, Jack said, "Oh my gosh, that would be perfect for a maul stick." So we picked those up in actually I think either 1998 or 1999 in the Container Store. They were $19.95, and I had one of my readers on my blog tell me that they're exactly the very same price in Container Store now. So that's pretty good. All right, let's see if we can get that highlight on there now the way I want it to be. Bracing my hand on the maul stick, I think, made a little bit of a difference, a little steadier. There we go. So that's our rooster's beak. Just a little bit of light coming here. We put his eye in now, and I just take my mixture of mud and do his whole eye in. Then I take a little bit of, this is mud plus cadmium orange. Use my smaller brush here to make his iris. a little bit of a light here. And then the catch light, where the light hits the cornea, the light's coming in from the upper left. So we have a catch light about, I can brace on this unpainted part of the canvas. This is all dry. And then I can put the catch light here. It's about 11 o'clock. And then the light hits the iris, which you can see right there. And then goes directly across from the catch light, then the iris is a little lighter, which you can see I have there. And then I'm just taking some of my mud and coming back and making the shape of the pupil round. You don't want your catch light to be in the middle of the pupil. Even though it may look that way in the photograph, when you paint it, if you put your catch light right in the middle of the pupil, it looks like your animal or person is on drugs. So Jack learned this technique by studying the old master paintings. Just to get that catch light. Now that's a little bit too big, so I can take my mud and come back, make it a little bit smaller. So there's my rooster's eye. We have his beak and his comb done. I really appreciate you watching my YouTube videos, and please visit my blog. The link is in the description below. It's also on the final frame of the video, the address is, and you can subscribe to my blog. And there I have the total start to finish process of this painting, the step-by-step process. So anyway, I really appreciate you following, and thank you so much. You can always ask questions in the comments section. So you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and happy painting.